insight into this first American pope. Earlier this morning, we spoke with American Bishop Robert Barron. Bishop Barron, so good to talk to you. You're also from the Chicago area.
In decent traffic, which you never have in Chicago, but decent traffic, I'd be about 25 minutes where he grew up. And he's only a few years older than I, so we're the same cultural matrix we came out of.
How significant is this?
I think it's extraordinarily significant. First of all, that no one expected it, and that's become the common thing now that we heard his name, but everyone said there's no way they'll ever elect an American. I think for the American church, it's super important. I mean, talk about raising consciousness about the faith, about the church. The very fact that we have someone now that's coming from our own, cultural source, that's wonderful for evangelization.
What do you make of the name Pope Leo?
I think it's very significant. I was delighted when I heard it. Leo XIII, he's referring to Leo XIII, great 19th century pope. When the revolutions in the 18th century happened and when the philosophical revolutions in the 19th century, the church initially said no to much of that. Leo represents a very nuanced, intelligent engagement with modernity, not caving into it, not saying yes completely, but not saying no, using the resources of our own tradition to engage modernity creatively. That makes him a bridge figure, very much so. When he talked about bridge building yesterday, but between liberals and conservatives, between those who are very suspicious of modernity, those who want to embrace it completely, Leo XIII represented a very creative, intelligent engagement with modernity. I think that's what he was signaling by the name.
Bishop, when the new Pope Leo appeared on the balcony, he was wearing a red sash vestment, and he spoke in 3 languages, none of them English.
Not English.
How do you interpret those things?
I think the first was a gesture to traditional Catholics, and I think a way of saying, sure, I'm a bridge to you too, because Francis famously comes out without the mozzetta, without the stole, making his own, kind of statement thereby. But I think this Pope was saying, okay, I'm a bridge to more traditional Catholics. But I mean, I think he was just there as the shepherd of the church. The Pope's job is not so much getting into the nitty-gritty of policymaking. That will come. His main role is to symbolize the unity of the church. And I think that's what he did beautifully yesterday.
There has also been reports about the financial problems at the Vatican and the need to fix that because they can't pay the pensions for many of the people that work inside the Vatican. He just happens to be a math major from Villanova and apparently good governor of things.
Yes.
So how does that change things?
I think we underestimate the importance of that in the minds of the cardinals. You're right, someone with a math background, but also an administrative background. He was a provincial superior in Chicago, then he was superior of the whole Augustinian order. That's a big job. Then very involved in curial affairs here as head of dicastery for bishops. I think they were, and maybe perhaps he's an American, and there's that sense of, well, maybe an American will have a better handle on the finances. I think that we might be underestimating how important that was in the minds of the cardinals.
President Trump tweeted congratulations, and he was thrilled that there was now an American pope. He can't wait to meet him. Prior to Francis's death, the outgoing Pope Francis, there was a sense that the Vatican and the Trump administration had some political friction. And the new ambassador to the Holy See was seen as a critic of Francis. This appointment, the new Pope Leo, what do you think that means for the collision course that the administration and the church seem to be on at times?
I think this man is intelligent enough and spiritually alert enough to know that we can use Catholic social teaching to engage the American reality in a creative way. Catholic social teaching says a nation has a right to defend its borders. It doesn't recommend open borders and all that. At the same time, it recommends a deep compassion for and openness to the immigrant. So both those elements are at play in Catholic social teaching. Now, how that works itself out politically, we have to talk about it. I think he'll be bright enough to use our own social teaching to engage the American situation.
This return to the thought of social justice. Bishop Barron, so wonderful to talk to you. Another person from Chicago.
Great. Chicago rules the world now, huh?
Midwest of America.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much.